to work with the United States in peace and security within the region because we are committed to that. And we just want to thank you so much for this opportunity.
Well, thank you. And such good English, such
Yes.
beautiful.
You know,
Where did you learn to speak so beautifully? Where were you educated? Where?
yes, sir.
In Liberia.
Yes, sir.
Well, that's very interesting. That's beautiful English.
Sure.
I have people at this table can't speak nearly as well,
Very
and
good, sir. We want to work with the United States in peace and security within the region because we are committed to that. And we just want to thank you so much for this opportunity.
well, thank you. And such good English, such
Yes.
beautiful.
You know,
Where did you learn to speak so beautifully? Where were you educated? Where?
yes, sir.
In Liberia.
Yes, sir.
Well, that's very interesting. That's beautiful English.
Sure.
I have people at this table can't speak nearly as well,
Very
and
good, sir.
So I don't know about you guys, but that was very cringe. It's a cringe moment in the relationship between, I would say, African countries and the United States of America, because this was a president, the Liberian president, Joseph Boakai. They went visiting Trump, the United States of America, and I say they because it was a coalition of lots of African countries. It wasn't just the president of Liberia that went on the trip. Um, okay, I'll just read a quick article here. During the meeting with the leaders of several African nations at the White House, Trump took pause on Wednesday to compliment the Liberian president Joseph Boakai's English comment. Now, I'm not sure what guys went to the White House. Let me check that information out quickly. African leaders visit White House. July 9th, 2025. Trump hosts 5 West African leaders to develop trade costs. Let me put that on my screen quickly. Trump is hosting leaders from Gabon, Guinea-Bissau, Liberia, Mauritania, and Senegal on Wednesday with discussions to focus on business opportunities. And this is a picture of those guys over there with Donald Trump. Now, going back to the original video with Joseph Boakai, the president of Liberia, that was extremely embarrassing, obviously. And we know that Donald Trump doesn't really respect African people, especially African leaders. However, we know that he would have some respect for some African leaders that portray themselves with dignity. I mean, guys that stand for something, not guys that pack themselves up in an airplane and they travel all the way to the United States of America to meet one person. Yes, I understand the economics it's not balanced. The United States has a huge economy. In fact, one state in America might have a larger economy than those 5 West African countries put together. So yes, we understand that when countries are having these trade negotiations, the A side, for the lack of a better term, has the ability to dictate, right? Compared to the B side. The A side in this case is the United States of America, and the B side are the 5 West African countries. So the dictator, the A side, USA, is able to bring in 5 countries to come visit. But it even gets worse because sometimes you hear about some US Africa summit and then it's held in Washington, D.C., where you have leaders from 50 African countries bundle themselves up, sometimes in the same airplane, all the way to Washington, D.C. to go meet the United States. It's embarrassing. It's highly, highly embarrassing. But I can vouch for countries like Burkina Faso, Niger, Mali. They wouldn't stoop that low to go attend all these types of functions. They would only attend functions where they will be respected. Like we saw Ibrahim Traore going to Russia recently to sign some agreements with Putin. Putin even offered some escorts, some military, high grade, high technology aircrafts to escort Ibrahim Traore from Burkina Faso to Russia because they have respect for the guy. But you compare that with this guy, this Joseph Boakai of Liberia, you know, probably put himself in the same airplane with 5 other West African leaders, bundled themselves all the way to Washington, D.C. to go meet Donald Trump that has no respect for them. And Trump doesn't have a filter. He says it how he feels. The guy is absolutely ridiculous. He just says what he feels. And because he has no chill, he disrespects this guy to his face. And all this guy can do is smile. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Look at this guy.
We want to work with the United States in peace and security within the region because we are committed to that. And we just want to thank you so much for this opportunity.
Well, thank you. It's such good English, such beautiful. Where did you learn to speak so beautifully?
You know what's funny? Trump doesn't even care. He wasn't even listening to what the guy was saying. If you think about it, he was observing him like, oh, look at this guy sitting down in front of me and speaking so clearly. I believe that was a genuine reaction from Donald Trump. I believe that was genuine, but it's because he could say it out because he has no respect for Joseph Boakai and any other African leader that is similar to Boakai. And we're going to go into his history quickly to see who exactly Joseph Boakai is. I mean, yeah, Boakai. Joseph Boakai. Apologies for mispronouncing his name. We don't really say much about Liberia because it's not a country that is often in the news, but it's a country worth talking about. Liberia and the United States, they have a long history where the United States, I guess, experimented with some African slaves back in the days and facilitated their return to Liberia from the US. And Liberia ended up being the first African country to gain independence from colonization. So, with that knowledge, Trump should know that it's an English speaking country, and therefore, someone that has attained a level of presidency, someone that is that experienced, will be able to communicate in English from such a country. But because Trump has no regards for Africans or Africa or not just African people, for a lot of people, we know who Trump is, right? The least that an African leader can do is to have some self respect and some dignity, some integrity. You don't bundle yourself all the way to go visit Donald Trump. Listen, if you go visit Donald Trump or not, you're still a poor country. Liberia is still not doing good. And the way to fix Liberia is for the leaders to be serious about fixing it. If they follow a similar approach to what Burkina Faso is doing, for example, they will get it right. And what is this approach? You nationalize your natural resources, you take full control of the mining activities going on in your country. And even if you don't have the expertise or the experience to operate the equipment and the machinery to get it done, you can collaborate with some other countries that will be more respectable with you on the interim until your people know how to operate those machinery. But you see, guys like Joseph Boakim, let's even go into his history quickly. Let's see who exactly this guy is. Joseph Boakim, the Liberian president. Joseph Boakim. I'm going to go on a quick Wikipedia search. This is what he is. Joseph Nyuma Boaki, born 1944. Oof. If he was born in 1944, that means he is about 79 or 81, thereabout. Wow, he's old. Liberian politician who served as the 26th president of Liberia since 2024. He previously served as the 29th vice president from 2006 to 2018, so 12 years as the vice president under Ellen Sirleaf. And he was a minister of agriculture from 1983 to 1985. That was before the civil war in Liberia. Boakai ran for president in 2017, losing the elections to George Weah. He went on to defeat Weah in 2023 elections. Personal life. Boakim was born in the remote village of Warsonga in the Foya district. He's from the Kisi ethnic group, married to Katamo, and they have 4 kids. It's unfortunate, to be honest. I don't get it why these African leaders allow themselves to be embarrassed this way, to be disgraced, because they themselves, their hustle is simply to get into politics and get into power, even when they have no solution to offer. Even when they have nothing to offer, they still force themselves to get into power. So we're going to wrap this up with a quick speech from a young leader from Burkina Faso, Ibrahim Traore, and then you can understand why, even though Trump has no respect for African leaders or African people, he would have respect for someone like Ibrahim Traore, because this is a real guy that stands for something. And what is it? It stands for his people, period.
Sure to always stay clean, plant as many trees as you can, and your teachers will help you learn the basics of agricultural production, particularly in gardening, awaken in you. This Burkina-based spirit, awaken in you, this love for the homeland. You can and you must encourage all your peers to be very good citizens out of solidarity. And I count on you to be the driving force that will lead your peers towards excellence. And as for you, sponsors and members of the government, we indeed have a mission to truly mentor these young people and support them. I can tell you that when we definitely lower the fever of this war and significantly control our military spending, we will need to invest heavily in certain areas. We have stratified the areas and functions, and in the first layer,
Tell me that's not the kind of leader that you would respect. Even if you're a bigot, someone that hates other people for their physical characteristics, someone that speaks that way, stands for something, and tries to raise up his people, you would have some respect for that kind of person. But that's the content tonight. Let me know what you think in the comment section. If you like this type of content, subscribe to the channel. What do you think Joseph Boakim should have done? In my opinion, he shouldn't have even picked himself up going to the United States in the first place. Yes, they are a larger economy, but you need to have some self-respect. You're already poor. You not going to the United States is not going to make you poorer. But because you're seeking the validation of a Trump, someone that has no respect for you, you go all the way to the United States and embarrass yourself. That's what Joseph Boakai did, the president of Liberia.